Brandon Lewis filling in for the great Michael Yaffee. We've got Steve calling in here. Welcome to the Talk Monster. What's on your mind?
You are on my mind, Mr. Lewis. How are you? Happy New Year.
My goodness. Is this the Steve Abramowicz of the Mill Creek View newspaper? It now changed the name.
Formerly Mill Creek
Heartland
View,
Journal.
now Heartland Journal. So
Yes.
we cover Alabama and Tennessee, where you live, in East Tennessee. Yeah, you betcha. I wanted to ask you a question.
Go ahead, buddy.
What is up with Tennessee and their far left liberal-leaning media that you have had to spend a fortune out of pocket, and I'm going to toot your horn, to actually tell people what they want to know, since the voters are overwhelmingly conservative? Why does it fall on one man like you to have to do it, even though you do it so phenomenally well anyway, and I'm proud of you?
Well, you're very kind. You didn't have to call in and say that, but I appreciate it. Well, Steve, it's, as you well know, they did a recent study of journalists, and they did this back in, I think the last one was around 2017 or 2018, but the latest one's about 2 years old. And essentially they found that there are only about 3% of journalists that will identify as Republican. And then there's a big, huge swath that will not identify, and then there's about 30 or 40% that say they're Democrats. And so you can probably tell where the ones in the middle are. And so you've got reporters that are almost exclusively left-leaning. The corporations are almost exclusively left-leaning. And then where does the money come from? Large corporate advertisers. And it is very difficult to speak out on many of these issues because you get a call from the marketing manager for those large corporations. They say, well, your station, your newspaper, your whatever, we're going to pull the advertising if you don't get your talk radio host or your writers or your editors to shut their mouth. The thing that allows me to do it, Steve, other than not having enough good sense to just leave it alone, is that all of our support comes from grassroots donors. We have virtually no advertising on the website. We get $5, $10, $15, $20. Occasionally, a few thousand people will mail it in or run cards, and we make just enough to pay the staff. And then I make my living doing something completely different. And so I would say that the number one thing that allows me to tell the truth is the number one thing that does not allow GOP leadership to actually tell the truth, and that is my money comes from the constituents, and their money comes from the corporations. And so that the money sourcing is probably the number one thing that gives me a free rein. What else is on your mind you want to talk to, Steve?
Well, so you made an excellent point, because the constituents are overwhelmingly Republican. Over there in eastern Tennessee, I found this to be the case. They went for Barry Goldwater. They're about as conservative as you're going to get in this country. And the reason why I moved from California to not California, my Tennessee, is to basically be able to tell people, look, don't make the mistakes of the liberal blue city sanctuary cities. Do it like Tennessee does it, and then all 49 states could actually be better, not worse. But yet you are the only person willing to say that, including the elected officials. Why do you find the Tennessee conservative Republican supermajority not looking out for the little guys and gals who actually vote for them?
So the first issue we talked about is the money, and that's pretty apparent. You can measure that. You can see where the sources come from. But the other big issue, Steve, is human nature. You get up there in Nashville, they feed you these huge steaks, ply you with bourbon. There are lobbyists coming in all the time. Usually scantily clad young women in professional pantsuits, flattering you, slipping you packed checks. And then you have the other thing that happens. And that is, if you want to climb in the ranks of Republican leadership in the Tennessee General Assembly, you can't really be too conservative or you get relegated to obscurity.
Don't forget, subscribe to the Tennessee Conservative right now. Go to Tennessee Conservative News, see the latest stories from around the volunteer state. It is your conservative resource, TennesseeConservativeNews.com. They're awesome. Check it out. Subscribe for free. TennesseeConservativeNews.com. Tell them Yaffee sent you.